All right. This is Bag Talk with your host, Lord Vale, aka X Pookie. Um, Tonight we have Nyasia, the traditional midwife from DC. Let's go. All right. First off, my first question is, how you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. You sound good. You look good. Your skin is immaculate. Let's
Thank you.
go. So, why did you become a vegan? What was it that made you become a vegan? Well, my bad. Carbon based eating, but you was a vegan, so that's why I asked the question. So what made you become a vegan?
So I first went vegan in 2017 after watching the documentary with the health. Um,
I've
that
seen that.
that scared me. I was actually at my internship. I had some chicken for the last time, so I thought, and I was like, well, no, yeah, I had some chicken for the last time, so I thought, went to try to be like eating
You have
vegetables.
some mumbo sauce?
No, I didn't have mumbo sauce at that time. I should have went out with a bang and got some mumbo sauce, but no. So I had the chicken, thought I was cool. After I had been like, on my vegetarianish, I wasn't vegan yet. I was trying to like cut out the meat, but then they had a large retirement party. Those government agencies, they throw the best retirement parties. They done gave the people 30, 40 years. So they would have all the food that a person would love from all over, depending on what type of cuisine they like.
Okay.
Man, I had that daggone food. I was in the hospital afterwards. Stomach shut down. I'm like, oh man, I was doing good, not eating no meat, going to the bathroom more regularly because I was eating just the plants, and I was still having a little bit of dairy here and there. So then that was the sign, go blown vegan, because it just was
Uh-oh.
like my body had already stopped processing the chicken.
Okay. Okay. All right. All right. Now look, I'm gonna be honest with you. I used to be vegan. I did for like 2 years. You know what I mean? Like I was real thin. Now my skin was immaculate. Don't get me wrong. Like, and I was using the bathroom regularly. But I had to put on some muscle. You know what I mean? Like I gotta. And with that lifestyle, it kept me skinny with my body type.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it was, but yeah. But so, how did you transition into carbon based eating?
So 2020, I went into a deep research mode again, of course, pregnancy,
Hmm.
parenthood, etc. Um, Came into some information, was still doing some more research. 2021, that's when I really came into some real information. And I was just trying to decide which way I was going to go as far as like ARNA, the tribal government, the more simple information, stuff like that, nationality, um, find out more about the U.S. corporation, and
I
things like that.
forgot you was into that. I forget. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm glad you reminded
So
me. Okay, now I got some questions.
coming into that information, right, and then they have the AMA. The AMA is the Aboriginal Medical Association. They have certain foods that are more detrimental for us genetically, and then the foods that are more beneficial genetically. And being able to reverse any ailment known to man on this lifestyle. I'm not going to call it a diet because, of course, it's bigger than that. So
Yes.
then that's what made me get into the carbon-based eating, because I was more so at that time, like January to March-ish, I was getting more so into like the alkaline, and I was still doing like the mushrooms and stuff. And then my brother, he had put me onto the ARNA, AMA, and whatnot. And it was like, yeah, mushrooms and then the nitrogen and then how it reacts in the body. I'm like, oh man, I gotta let this go. It wasn't a big thing to let go, but it's just like, okay, maybe this will provide me with some more options. I'm like, oh, I could go back to eating like my pineapples and other fruits and stuff, because of course we love Dr. Sebi. No disrespect to the man, but of course there's things that have been more advanced as far as the knowledge, right? And food, nutrition, and just building on it. So he laid a good foundation, and then from there they've taken it and advanced a little bit further.
Okay. Yeah. You know what's so interesting? I have met Dr. Sebi's kids. Like, I get CMOS from his daughter in Georgia. Not the one on Breakfast Club. Not her. I got my opinions on them, but I'm gonna leave that alone. But no, I go to his other daughter, and get to see Massimo and all that. Like I said, you ain't the only herbalist. I'm just saying. But we're gonna get to that eventually. But okay. So we talked about the tribe. What tribe are you talking about? Like, are you talking about indigenous? Are you talking like what type of tribe? Like, let's get into it. Let's go there with it. Let's go.
Okay. So yeah, when I said tribe, I'm talking about indigenous Aboriginal people. So we've been told, okay, we originate in Africa. So several different things. We've been told about the transatlantic slave trade, the numbers, and all of these other things. So coming into that knowledge, there were people who were already here, and some of the tribe was actually enslaved by some of the African tribes, right? So it's coming into that knowledge, and then of course having the knowledge of the nutrition. This was a lot to unlearn, a lot to build. Learning the ins and outs of like taxes and where your money actually goes when you pay those tolls and tickets. Where money actually goes whenever we pay anything that we think that we're paying, right? So the chief of Arna was able to go through and teach these different classes of how you actually truly navigate the law, how you actually reverse the things that we thought was, as far as like your birth certificate, social security and stuff like that. The things we thought was what it was just on a surface level, and actually break it down and realize that it's a lot more than what we think. It's a lot more than what.
Okay. So you said so. Do you follow the Moorish teachings as well, or is it just you apply some of their teachings?
So they apply. There's certain similarities. As far as the,
Oh no.
it's like the an agreement where we're able to operate a certain way. So we have the protections of course, being a tribe. It's recognized. So when we get into like the contraindications, of course, like we were in the pandemic and stuff. Those contraindications were honored because recognized as a tribal government. So it's government, and we have the tribal governments. So most of the Moorish temples don't have a actual tribal government backing them. So that's the only issue as to why I didn't go that route. Love everything they stand for, but I just needed something more sustainable for my household. So being able to avoid like taxation and being able to navigate in a certain way to paycheck, or have your business protected by being taxed a certain way. But most a lot of stores, it is sometimes they make it a little bit complicated. Being able to go into the stores and not pay certain taxes, right? So those things, being backed by a tribal government, it just makes for easier process so that you aren't being chased after by the IRS and these other entities.
Okay. Ooh. All right. Now we going there. So, do you agree with some of the Moors when you see them debating in the streets? You know what I mean? Like throwing out different codes. You know what I'm talking about? Throwing out different codes or squatting in houses. Like, what's your thoughts on what I would call the mainstream Moors? Like, what's your thoughts on that? No hate. We just being being just telling your truth. That's it.
I just kind of see those things, and then I just go back to just minding my business, because people are just sometimes they have a platform, and they can sometimes take advantage of their people that follow them, and it may not be the route that you should actually be leading them down towards, right? Because there will be some people who will take that and they won't build on the knowledge. They'll take what you say, no grain of salt, and run with it. So that can lead to a lot more people getting in trouble. Like a lot of people, since they aren't backed by a tribal government, or they haven't nationalized properly, they'll take these different things and they'll try to learn about the U.S. codes and things like that, and they'll end up in trouble later on down the line. Like I had someone who had went that route, and their someone who I know that was going that route, their family member end up getting locked up for fraud because of the methods that they went based on taking what the person said, running with it, not researching further, not just taking it with a grain of salt and wanting to build deeper. Just took it and ran with it, and then they got caught up. So that's my opinion with anything that's pretty much mainstream. We have to be careful. I'm not discrediting them, but careful and just question things a little bit further or get a little bit further guidance from other resources just to see, like, okay, is this a proper way to go? What happens if this isn't the right way to go? What are the consequences? Not just taking it and running with it and then crying later on.
Okay, I like that response. I agree. I don't even have nothing to add on to that. You killed that. All right. You killed it even without even like just being like malicious or nothing. You just like, hey, it is what it is. So with your tribe, so what type of benefits, what other benefits do y'all have being a tribe? And is it a big tribe or y'all in like one state? Is it multiple states or like how does that work?
It's all over the U.S. jurisdiction. And then for those that are outside of the U.S., there's not the same protections, of course, because there's certain countries you can't even have the arms. Like I think Colombia is one place you can't own a gun. I think it's more so like only their government officials or their police or military can own a gun. So it's not the same protections out there, right? But as far as the benefits, the tax purposes, we have people who are skilled in debt reversals. We have the best medical association in the world. I'm going to go ahead and throw that out there. Naturopathic doctors that are just so far beyond most people out here. I'm saying that lightly, but I just know they're just capable of so many different things. Reversing all of the big boy ailments. Anything you could think of, the things that they say that you're stuck with forever, the things that they quote unquote don't have the answer for. There's people within the medical association that have reversed it and made it look like it's the common cold. People that have been stuck with things for their whole life, so to speak, things they thought was hereditary, things that people just think that they have to live with, like eczema and things like that, the small stuff, right? People have just been conditioned to believe it's hereditary, it passes on. It passes on hereditarily if you eat those things to bring that out, right? It activates those genes. The defects in the bloodline, right? Mm-hmm. So people have just conditioned to believe that, but the AMA puts you in a proper lifestyle, not gonna say diet, proper lifestyle, directing the diet and intake on a holistic level, and then from there you're able to avoid all the ailments overall. But requires a lot of discipline, of course. But I think that's the best benefit, the AMA, having access to those professionals that are just able to assist you in the natural ways and they don't want you hooked on pharmaceuticals. I think that's the best benefit. There's plenty of others, like there's ways to acquire land and things like that where you can avoid certain taxations. There's ways to purchase vehicles and avoid certain taxations. There's ways to reverse car notes. There's just so many different ways. Yeah.
Where can I sign up? Hey, I'll be in them books. Just point me in the direction. Look, lead me to the water. I'll drink it. You hear me?
I got you.
Hey, because dude, look, I'm tired of these taxes. Look, I am sick of taxes.
Yeah.
Hell, taxes should be our reparations, but that's a whole nother topic.
That's what we call it. So when you correct your status and you're able to get away from those taxations, it's self-administered reparations. Because you think about it, you purchase a large ticket item. That's typically when you see the most taxes added on, right? Buy something $300, it's $50 added in taxes, or buy something that's more expensive than that, they add $100 to $300 added on taxes. Go to different states. There's different percentages. So those little nuggets of saving money are ways to basically self-administrations. But of course, they like to set a little number, and then people get excited when they see like, oh, they're going to finally give us reparations. Nowhere near close to the amount that we're truly owed. Nowhere near close to the way that you think that you're going to get those, and it's just going to be given to you. And you haven't even claimed your right nationality. Still identify define as Black and African American on paper?
Come on, let's go there. Let's do it. Cause look, we talk on IG or whatever, and look, I don't like to argue with people. I just let them live their lives. So like, when it comes to the Black conversation, the African word, I let them have it. I'm like, look, go ahead. Because look, I've had arguments with our people about that word. Like, no. I'm talking about arguments. Like, what you mean we ain't Black? What? We've always been Black. I'm like, but we never called ourselves that. We never called ourselves. We never named Africa the Africa. Like, I mean, it's real, because like the question I ask them is, okay, all right, let's go with the whole Africa thing, even though that's questionable. Who named it? What language is it? No answer. No answers.
Yeah.
And then we, like, my grandmama, right? Her famous saying is always, they called us, what she say? They called us copper. They called us colored. They called us Negro, and now we Black. What are we? So basically, what she was saying is, we took in all these titles, and we don't even know ourselves. But yet we accept their titles. Once again, their titles for us.
Yep. And
go ahead, go off.
Black, what is it? The Black Lives Matter thing being a scam, and people were just like, "Oh wow, the woman went and bought a multi-million-dollar house and all of this stuff," and I'm like, yeah, I want to be Black and I'm proud, and not really knowing what that word truly means. I mean, I'll still use it here and there, right? Because we have people who haven't came into the knowledge, so you're able to get their attention, so that you aren't just mind blowing them. Because I'm pretty sure they're going to watch. I'm going to talk to two people, and they're going to be like, "Oh wow, like I didn't using the word and this and this." Like when I'm doing my book drop, I have it so Black Indigenous authors or Black authors only, because that's what I want. I want the Black people, which we know, melanated, Indigenous,
Black. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah,
I got
Black. Because I know if I ask certain terms, people would be like, "What is she talking about?" So for those purposes, I'll utilize the word Black. But when I'm identifying what my demographic stuff says, I'm not using that at all. I'm checking Indigenous every time. None of my demographic paperwork or anything like that says African American or Black. So in that regard, I'm safe. But when I'm talking with to different people, and I understand where they've placed themselves in a mind frame of, what did I say, comfortability in their own ignorance, but not ignorance in the sense that they can't get to the information, ignorance in the sense that they don't want to unload the information or try to rebuild the information.
Okay. Yes. See, I knew this was gonna be a good interview, because I know, because we agree with a lot of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, so wow. All right. Dang. Yeah, I agree with you. I have to, like, even though I used to not be used to it, but no, I'm 29 now, so I had to get used to people just calling themselves Black still. So I'm like, all right, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I really want to say copper, or just say Indigenous, period. Really Indigenous, really. You know what I mean? Like, but I understand that some people are not there yet. You know what I mean? But so, all right. How did you become an herbalist? Let's get into that. Let's jump into that.
So, I've always enjoyed nature for the most part, right? And then I ended up finding a class. It was like Grandma's Hands herbalist course. It's like one of the herbalist women. She's been around for like so long. I wanted to take her class, and so I took it. She had a special at the time. It was like $100. I think now her classes are like $400 or $500. But I ended up taking her class, just learning more about herbs, and just figuring out and wanting more information. Sorry, dealing with a flicky toddler here.
Look at her. At least you ain't dealing with the terrible twos, even though it's coming.
I've been dealing with a little bit here. Stop. Okay, here you go. Trying to breastfeed. But so wait, what's the point I was about to make? My bad.
She done lost it. I think you was going to say, the herbalist. You said you took a class and it was
Oh
supposed to be
yeah,
like,
yeah.
yes.
So I took her class and I wanted more information than what I gained in the class, right? So just to build further upon it. And then of course getting more so into cooking all of my meals. That's pretty much how I got into being an herbalist, like just figuring out like what certain herbs to put together, being more versed in like different things people can use and different things people can drink, um, and stuff like that whenever there's any ailments.
So was this in high school? Was this in college or after college? Like when did you take her class?
Oh no, I took her class like right around the time that I was getting more so into midwifery. So that was like 2020.
Oh, okay, okay. So this is like more recent.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, more
Okay, all
recent.
right. Well, okay. All right, Miss Herbalist. Cause you be cooking.
Yeah.
Like, look, fellas. You gonna get you a cook out of her. I know y'all be on look, hold on. I gotta say this. I'm sorry. I know y'all be online complaining about women not cooking, blah 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 blah. Look, she cook. Look, let me tell
Definitely
you
do.
something. She cook. And she cooks some shit that I'd be like, when you go cook my dinner? Like when you go cook for me? Cause that whatever she cook, it look good, it look immaculate. Okay?
I
But
appreciate it.
yes. And you got a cookbook. Okay, let's talk about that. Okay, so what kind of cookbook is this?
No, it's a cooking class.
Oh, cooking class. My bad. The cooking class.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
Yeah.
what made you want to start the cooking class? Because you already starting some new business. You got like 20,000 businesses. So what made you want to start this business venture right here with the class?
So transparently speaking, I simply try to run from the things that slap in the face, right? Now I try to run from my innate talents until they slap me in the face. And what I mean by that is my line sister Imani. I'm going to send this to her so she knows I'm always mentioning this story. But my line sister Imani, while I was pregnant, I was just doing all this research and educating other people about pregnancy, postpartum, and mind you, I had never been pregnant before, so I just was coming into this information. I just felt it needed to be out there, right? Similar to what I do now as a midwife, right? So she's like, well, if you don't want to go back to school, because at the time I wasn't thinking that I operate in a way that I could not have to go back to the westernized medicine system because I was getting away from that, right? So I was like, I'm not going back to school. I'm not doing no medical. I'm not doing all of that. And she's like, I could be a doula. I despise that word because it means female slave. But we'll get into
Wait,
that in a second.
what?
Yeah, we'll get into
Okay.
that in a second.
Okay, yeah,
So
we gonna say the doula for later, but let's just stick to the class because
yeah,
I got some questions.
I'm gonna tie it in. I'm gonna tie it in. So
Okay.
with that, I had did some more research and I was like, okay, cool. So then from there, I did a little bit more research and I was okay, I think I can do this. So then I came into the knowledge of just different things and it kept coming back full circle. So she was like, okay, someone else said, oh, you need to be a doula. Someone else, oh, you help me with my lactation. Someone else, when are you gonna become a midwife? I was going back to school. What are you talking about? Coming into other information, learning that there's different ways. There's certain acts within the certain codes, U.S. codes and whatnot that protect you. If you are identifying as a certain way, you're backed by a tribal government. You can operate in a certain way and not have to go back to Western schooling to operate in a certain capacity, right? So that was the one thing that slapped me in my face and kept coming back. Then with the cooking, posting my food, season up my stuff, learning how to actually really cook, for the nutrition, right? And not just the looks and the taste and how it makes you feel. So getting more so into that, kept asking me. Every time my best friend comes over, she was here today. Made some little carbon-based pancakes out of some spelt flour, some Ceylon cinnamon, some maple syrup infused with Madagascar vanilla, stuff like that, right? So she's like, oh my goodness, these are just so delicious. And I'm like, girl, I just whipped this together. Like, it's whatever. It wasn't like one of my best dishes, so to speak, right? But she was tearing it up. every time she come over for dinner, she like, you need to be teaching me how to do this. I'm like, girl, cook the food for you. You just watch what I do, and it's just that. Every time I post some food, people asking me, well, when you go over a class, when are you come back? I'm like, well, I think I'm gonna wait to do the ebook so I can build on my studies of the carbon-based food and different things, so I can know like the science, the full science behind everything, so I can custom curate it and be like, okay, this is the type of food that you should probably be avoiding if you have HSV. You should be avoiding this type of stuff if you have, I'll say cancer or the other ailments, right? So I want that before the cookbook. But I said, y'all keep asking about the cooking and what I be doing with this, and I'm gonna just go ahead and produce the class. So here we are. We have a cooking class. It kept coming to me, and I tried to avoid it. I've been avoiding it for months. People have been asking me since probably February of this year.
And now you got it done.
Yeah.
And how long do you think what's your vision for it, like, in the future? Like, do you want this to be like a month, every month thing, every week, or like how do you want to proceed with it?
I like exclusivity. So I'll say maybe a couple times out there. It truly just depends, because next year I have quite a few midwifery clients, and one involves traveling. Possibly two will involve traveling. I just have to see like if it's finalized yet. So of course we can't stop the nutrition and cooking. So I'm just thinking maybe a few times out the year. I have to see how this first cohort goes. I'm gonna do a group class. Then I have another idea that I'll offer. I'm not going to announce that yet, but I have another idea that I'll offer. So I'm thinking that the group class is maybe like 3 times out the year, so every like quarter, every 3 months, maybe. Or 4 times out the year. Yeah, 4 times out the year, maybe.
All right. Well, I want to show up to one of them classes because I want to know how to make them darn pancakes, that salmon you put up a couple of days ago. I need all that. All right. So, you went to HBCU, so I wanted to touch on that. So, how was that experience? Morgan State, right?
Yes, Morgan State.
Okay. So, what made you want to go to Morgan State, and how was the experience?
So I preview. I got accepted to every school I applied to. I just took my little horn there. I thought that the grade school.
We know you smart. We know you smart.
I thought the little grade school mattered. Advancing my knowledge. It matters to an extent, but outside knowledge matters more, right? But to my little horn there. And it was just all over. HBCUs all over, right? I'm just like, realistically speaking, financially, I'm gonna have to go to school in Maryland. They're gonna pay for my school up front. I'm gonna get a refund check every semester, depending on which school I choose. I'm going for free, all 4 years, right? So boom, it was between Towson, which is in Towson, Maryland. It's about 10 to 15 in state, which is in Baltimore, and then it was between them and Morgan, right? Go to Towson, get the tour. I'm like, I think I'm more so feeling this because they got healthy food options. They have a lot of healthy food options. Some things are newer, and it's a larger campus, which is what I thought I wanted, right? But then it wasn't really that connection that, could I really see myself for 4 years, or am I trying to convince myself? I was doing more so convincing myself. I go to Morgan, open house with my best friend who I was just talking about, right? Her mom took us. We drive from PG County, Pretty Girl County, to Baltimore.
Pretty Girl County. Hey, look, it's some pretty girls in Maryland. I've been through Maryland. Look, they thick. Some of them thick, slim. You can find them big like Lizzo. Whatever your preference is, they got it. But go ahead.
I'm cracking up. But we go to open house. The band comes out. Mind you, I went to majority black schools my whole life, so I'm used to having like a little decent band, right? They started playing that music, and the whole crowd started livening up, and me too. I'm like, this sounds like some go-go. I'm like, hey, about to start cutting up. Then at the end of the event, throughout the whole event, it just felt like we was just like a big family, right? We started singing songs together. We started doing the Morgan chant. We are the best. What? Don't take no mess. I like that. Stomp you in your chest. I said, oh, well, we getting gangster with it. I like that. So
Hey, ain't nothing like an HBCU homecoming. And a band with it too. Look, we got our homecoming coming up in the fall. Ain't nothing like a band, like
yeah, I was
especially when they start playing rap songs. Man, look,
man, we was in there, we was lit. So that, you know, that's the word now. We was lit in there, and it just felt like a black family cookout. I said, wow, if this is how all the events is gonna be, sign me up right now. I'm signing my commitment letter right now. I forgot what it's called, but it was basically like a little fee that you was supposed to pay, but since you went to open house, you can get it in waived. It was like your enrollment fee or something like that. But I was like, I'm coming to Morgan. Cancel all the other schools. Ain't no Hampton, ain't no Bethune-Cookman. Cancel it all.
wait, you didn't want to go to? You didn't want to go to Hampton?
It was the finances. Maryland, I had utilized all of these Maryland. I had the federal Pell Grant at the max amount and everything else. And I was like, if I go to Hampton, I'm going to have to take out loans. I was scared of debt at the time, right? So I'm like, my first loan is going to be a house or my car note. That's what it ended up being, right? But I just was scared. I was just like, I don't know about that. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to, you know, those worries of finding a job after school and everything else. I just was scared. So I went to a school where it would be covered underneath all of that free money that I was offered. Over $80,000 free money. That's what I was able to
what?
Yeah. Morgan was about 83 to 8,600 because of course it would go up every like semester or every year, so to speak, right? So like 300. My first refund check ever was like 3,700, all free money. So I didn't have to work until probably my junior year because of course the market decreased and whatnot. So my refund check would be like $1,000 here and there, or like $1,500. Had to pay for books and whatnot, but that's how I ended up at Morgan. It was the best setup financially to not have to pay for school. I ended up being able to finesse and not have to pay for books for most of the time, or not have to pay the full amount in books. I was able to get a certain amount in scholarship money for the book scholarship. It was a family atmosphere. It still is. When I go to Morgan, I know it's gonna be like a family reunion. I still have people who I'm connected to, people who actually support me to this day. Some people just support me just off the strength of me going to Morgan State. So it's like a family, but even if you're not
wow, okay.
That's why I went to Morgan and why I still be like, even though I know there's more to life than college, being able to create those connections, you probably wouldn't have been able to create such vast connections in such a short period of time had I not been at Morgan.
Look, let me tell you something. 3 of my co-hosts on my other podcast, the 420 Lords, are from. We all went to TSU except one of them. You know what I mean? Like, so yes. And then you network in college. I still know people to this day that I could call to and get information from. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, going to the right school and getting the right connections can help you out in life because you never know when you're gonna need people. You know what I mean?
That was my name at Morgan, the plug. I ain't never sold no drugs a day in my life, but I was called the plug because I was so well connected. And people still know me on the campus. And I graduated 3 years ago because they just know that I was one of those people that connected people to other people. Hit up, I mean, now my name is Nyasia, but then it was Gabby. Hit up Gabby. She gonna know about this and this. Or, oh, if she don't know directly, if she can't do it herself, she knows someone. And if she don't know someone directly, she knows someone that knows someone. So that was what I was known for.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna start. You know what? I'm gonna start calling you the plug now. I'm gonna start calling you the plug. I like. Ooh, that's a cold ass name. Wait a minute. The plug.
I was
Gabby the plug. Oh, wait, they called you Gabby the plug.
Yeah. Gabby the plug.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, I I was just talking to a few guys. Like, I miss college. You know what I mean? But hey, I'm gonna touch on this point. I'm glad that you didn't go into debt because most people they will go into debt just based off the school. I'm like, nah, avoid that. Them student loans ain't no joke.
I'm telling you.
Ain't no joke. Stay there free if you can. Really.
For as long as you can.
Look, I got
Unless you
loans.
come into some information where you can, get into these reverse the right way.
Contact Nyasia and her team. If you want to get away from Texas, contact Nyasia.
I can push you in the
There you
right
go.
direction.
If you need a cooking recipe, come to her class.
Yep. Definitely come to my class.
All right. So you graduated with a degree in business administration. What made you get that?
So I was one of those people that wasn't 100% sure. Stop. Please stop. Okay. Sorry. She got a hold of the mute button.
Nah, you good.
I'm one of those people that always knew that working for someone else wasn't going to be my end all. I tried to convince myself otherwise. But I knew that whichever way I went, having a degree that made me more flexible might give me those principles of going either way, of whether I wanted to work for someone or whether I wanted to start my own business. This is my mind frame at the time. I know people have successful businesses, billionaires, millionaires, etc., and they've never touched foot on a college campus. But at the time, that was my mindset. Do business administration, get all aspects. I'm going to do a circle. All aspects of business so I can be able to. What's wrong? Oh, she's sleeping.
Look at the little baby.
So I can be able to utilize that in my own personal. See, I can't get up right now. So I can be able to utilize that in my own personal life as far as my businesses, or I can be able to utilize that for someone else, right? So accounting, marketing, management, you name it, I took those classes. So that's why I went that route versus just going specifically to just accounting or just marketing or just management. I was able to get a taste of everything, see exactly what I would want, because I like to consider myself a well-rounded person, and I'm very knowledgeable. So I felt
yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Going into a specific thing, I felt it might have limited me, and I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do as far as business. I just knew, let me just get a little bit of everything. So I did.
Okay. Wow. God damn, how many titles you got? like, no, seriously, like, you got more titles than I have held. Like, golly, like, like, I'm like, okay, she can cook, she work out. Are you gonna become a personal trainer now? Hold on. You know what? Fuck it. Let's get into that. How do you stay so? Because I could tell by the way you look, you're able to keep the shape that you want, which is, and she thick, y'all. If you didn't know, go to IG. Don't take my word for it.
Go to IG and just admire. Don't slide in my DM.
Yeah, please don't. Please don't. Please don't be weird. Just click the like button. Just like the picture. That's it. But anyway, so how do you keep yourself? I see you work out. I see you do eat good. So, like, what advice would you give to people that want to keep that slim body? Because some people want to get rid of their fupas, they love handles, or just lose some pounds. So, what advice would you give them?
Honestly, being able to be flexible in the information that they come into. So, like, unlearning certain things. So, like, the key to, like, a lot of weight loss is having your fiber, right? But we have to have the proper fiber. Not what we've been taught, and not what a lot of personal trainers will actually educate you, because they don't have a lot of knowledge in real nutrition. They have the general nutrition, but we're talking about nutrition that's specialized in Black genetics, right? So my naturopathic doctors, those are the people that truly got me together. Drinking citrus juice after a meal helps with your digestion. It helps you to absorb those nutrients. So, you mentioned that you were vegan, and this is a lot of vegans, right? They go vegan, and a lot of women, they'll start to lose their hips. They'll start to atrophy at the hips, right? Because it's an improper food balance or food combination, because they're not eating the things that will sustain those healthy fats or sustain their curves and things. So having real knowledge knowledge and what you truly want to happen, which is to keep that nice figure. And I attribute that to having access to my naturopathic doctors, Healthy Sadie's on Instagram, and Ecliptic Vortex Health on Instagram, Dr. Coden. Those two, they keep me well versed in real health based on hours. And there's no naturopathic doctor. Well, no, let me say the westernized medicine doctor. There's no westernized medicine doctor really that's going to sit here and try to understand your genetics, right? The information they're giving is for everyone, and we're just all so different genetically that we get the generalized information. Oh, eat in moderation. You can't eat things in moderation if you're already sick. Well, I don't have a cold. I don't have a runny nose. But you have ailments. You have asthma. You have eczema. You have bronchitis here and there. You get sick every year. What is another thing that's like normalized? What else? You only use the bathroom once a day, and you eat 6 times out the day because that's what you've been told, right? 6 meals, right?
Yes.
You
Yes.
don't really drink spring water. You think purified is the same. So it's a lot of those unlearning things that are making us sick.
Okay.
That is normalized. Or like even with the women, I talk about women issues a lot. So they've normalized how their cycles are supposed to beat them up, and now it's like we need to get PTO for our rough cycle times or our debilitating cramps. And I'm like, no, you are unhealthy. So they shouldn't be granting PTO. We need to get to the source of that issue. So yeah, Dr. Coden and Dr. Sadie's keep me well versed in the knowledge, and I'm able to come into knowing to limit certain grains, go more so into the vegetables, but the vegetables that are more nutrient filled, so you don't have to eat as much. And then just knowing like the proper way to gain and lose weight, doing HIIT exercises to like shred the fat, building muscle with like the weightlifting, not being scared of weights, and not overdoing one or the other, because that thing as well.
Okay. Whew. All right. So, wow. I didn't expect you to be that long with it, but it was good though. You gave out some good information. So, all right. Wow. Damn. Cause you know what's so crazy? Like I work out and I do mostly like calisthenics. So like I use like more of my body. Like I'll pick up a weight here and there just to see where I'm at. Like if I can handle like a 40 or a 50, just to see how it is. So yeah. Ooh. Yeah, you talking that talk. Okay, so how did you become a midwife? Why did you become a midwife?
Oh, okay. So kind of similar to build on that earlier when you asked about the cooking class. My line sister was the one who first pointed out, hey, get into doula work. Hey, see, I can't go anywhere right now, baby. I don't know what you're doing. So to get into doula work, got into it. I'm like, I'm kind of limited in what I can do here. So then I'm like, all right, bet. My friend. What did you do?
Is she hungry?
She's sleepy.
Oh, okay.
Now she's mad at the iPad. She clicked on the wrong video. She was watching. She loves Peppa Pig, so she was trying to watch her little video. I guess I clicked on the wrong one, so she's mad at me. But no. So my line sister pointed out to do doula work. And this is when I'll get into the word doula for a second. Doula means female slave, so I don't use that anymore. And I came into the knowledge, and I was like, okay, I can be a traditional midwife. Traditional midwife, practicing under certain protections, of course, being an ARNA, and coming into different knowledge. I'm back so that I can use the UNDRIP law. I believe it's Act 24, so indigenous can practice medicine, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm protected that way. I have it in all of my client contracts and things like that. And I got into midwifery over just doing the birth work and being an assistant, because I just found out from personal experience and just hearing other stories and so many women I've talked to that most of these C-sections, they were finessed into those. And
Talk about it. Let's go.
the politically correct terminology would be the cascade of interventions. But the slang, of course, would be they were finessed, because going into the hospitals, leaving your comfort of your home, or not being in a more friendly environment like a birthing center, going to a hospital, hearing those sounds that your baby has never heard before, hearing voices they've never heard before, um, feeling your body tense up more than it has ever tensed up before, right? Because you're around strangers. Sometimes they're asking you a million and one questions. You may be having certain contractions and whatnot. You may not be in the most comfortable state, right? So they're feeling that. They're feeling your energy. That's why they say when you be careful of where your energy is and who you're around. Some men will even go as far as, oh, you ain't traveling nowhere. We're going to stay away from this family. Know how their energy can rub off. That can make for a complication. That can add stress, etc., right? Like I think my brother, he was like, yeah, we're not going to be around no people for real during this pregnancy. And she had a more peaceful pregnancy because she was shielded from that extra unnecessary energy, right? So, coming to that information of knowing about the medical interventions that people typically go through, I was like, well, I have to do more. I had to provide more than just the assistant. And knowing myself, trying to get people away from the hospitals just as an assistant, I figured I have to be the one to provide that option, as in be a midwife. Because how can I sit here and tell people, and this is if any birth workers, I hope they don't take offense to this, as far as them feeling like they're trying to remodel or reconstruct the birth world overall. Your work still matters, but I felt limited in that capacity, because it's like I'm not offering the end all be all, as in I'm not providing actual. I can't go open up as being a birth worker. I'm going to use birth worker instead of saying doula, because I just explained why I don't like the word. I can't just go do that. My full capacity as just that, right? But as a midwife, I can go open up this. I can actually have the women coming and birthing and stuff, right? So feeling limited. And then I had a friend. She ended up needing somewhere to give birth at. Everyone else folded under pressure. I'm calling it like I see it. I call it spade a spade all the time. They're just scared. Oh, home birth. I don't know about that. Ain't you supposed to be in the hospital? Mind you, she got finessed into a C-section before. She got
If they
finessed
only
into
knew.
Yeah, she got finessed into other things, and she said, I'm not doing that no more. And I'm like, well, as gangster as I am, come down to it, have your baby in my house. What down to, she had her baby in my house.
Whoa, wait.
Yeah,
What?
I caught the baby. I was the midwife in that birthing process. Yeah, baby's fine. They ain't had no follow-ups to know, because someone tried to ask me the other day. They was like, what, just trying to understand. They weren't trying to be condescending. They were like, well, don't you have to take the baby to the hospital after home birth? Nah. And the mom is an herbalist. She cold with it too. So I'm like, no. The baby in better hands with mommy. This her third go round. She pro at this.
Wait. She had all three. Wait. She had all three of her kids at your house, did she?
She just had one. Her latest one.
Okay, I'm about to say, hold on.
So she's well versed in like breastfeeding. Didn't really have to assist her with that. And then as far as like if there was any ailments or anything that needed to be addressed as far as the baby and whatnot, she wouldn't need as much. She's already well versed in herbalism and reversing her own ailments, right? So having a person that was more so mind-wise, she was already at a certain level, elevating a certain level, so she was more receptive to everything that I told her. Because I don't take on everyone as a client either. I have to make sure that they're of sound mind. They're actually going to follow my guidance and my suggestions, because certain things in pregnancy you eat, you try to have a pregnancy cheat, or depending on what type of food you may try to cheat with, cause for complication later on down the line. So I stick to the people who actually listen. So yeah, that's how I got it more so into midwifery. That feeling I felt when I caught my little nephew, I burst into tears. I felt like I gave birth again. I said, dang, all right, I might not have to have no more children, because I enjoyed the feeling that I got when my daughter came out of me, right? It is it's a feeling that just, it's like an instant burst of love.
Right.
But an instant burst of, I did that. Like, I actually am capable of
You brought in life to this
doing
world.
this, but it's on a whole grand scale. I felt that same way catching him, and me being able to be such on a mind wave of, I texted my brother and my sister, because of course he's laboring and whatnot. I'm like, more hands off, because I'm letting her do her thing, walking her through the breathing and things like that. Got the atmosphere set, no lights on, had the oil diffuser going and whatnot, essential oils, you know how it go.
Yeah.
And she was, doing her little sound waves and whatnot, going through the contractions and things. And I told my friends, my brother and my sister, I'm like, baby should be here in about like an hour. I kid you not, baby was born in 45 minutes. Right, I sent that message. I said,
Wow.
what person do you know on earth is able to predict birth? Literally, we were on such the same like vibration that it was just crazy. Like, I knew every stage of labor, literally every stage of labor, because I had that of laboring naturally. So that's why it's more so going through my experience, sharing the information, helping others have their birthing experiences. That's why I became a midwife. It's so necessary, because they just finesse into so many unnecessary things. Cascade of interventions. They say, oh, let's give her Pitocin to speed up the contractions. Unbearable contractions, which is going to finesse you into getting an epidural, because then it's so unbearable and you've never even felt the natural contractions. Or you haven't been taught, you didn't take my class to teach you about, okay, how do I sustain myself nutriently so I don't feel as many contractions? Or if I follow the nutrition, I say, baby, it's posterior, they're up against my spine, I'm going to have a back labor versus a front labor. How do I get away from focusing on the pain?
Okay.
That takes classes, that takes education. That's why I offer the pregnancy classes, the postpartum. It's a lot of information, and not much flies by like that. Every time, I don't care how many kids you've had, every time a woman is like, it feels like the pregnancies get faster and faster. I'm like, yeah. You try to study all the information. Taking a class is a lot easier than trying to read 30,000 books.
Yes.
I'm gonna tell you that right now.
Look,
So
I read.
Dropping that money, it may seem like a hefty fee up front, but the value is priceless. Especially getting those connections. Like, my students have connected together, seeing certain birth outcomes. They're like, oh, okay, we up next, but they're happy about it, because that person has had their ideal outcome on investing in themselves and investing in their future, because the child is the future, right?
Yes.
So that all, I know that was a little lengthy. That all is why I became a midwife, because it's just like, we have to get out of the construct of we belong in hospitals. Hospitals were secondary. The midwives, the granny midwives, if someone wants to go to YouTube or like do some research, the granny midwives, those were the OGs. They were going to people's houses. Oh, let me go steam up my little utensils. Let me go just, go check on her. Daddy, you could go take a break. Literally, they were the ones that was making sure everything was going well. All of these infant mortality rates and things, like, it wasn't like how it is now. They start wanting to play in the birth world. They start wanting to introduce these pharmaceuticals. A lot of women don't even know epidurals are a derivative of cocaine.
Whoa. I didn't even know that. Go ahead. Go into that. Let's talk.
Yeah. The epidural is a derivative of cocaine. So back in the 80s, when people was doing the open crack, I guess that was the time. They would kiss somebody, they would get a little numbness in their lips. Epidural numbs you from the waist down, right? Why are people not seeing the similarity? They're not seeing the similarity there, right? Almost every woman I know that's got an epidural has a spinal issue now, because that's where they injected.
You know what? Hold on. A lot of my aunts, like my grandmother's like sisters, they got spinal issues, and like Okay, you onto
Mhm.
something. Go ahead.
Yeah, and it'd be a lot of
You
the
in your
younger
bag
women.
right now.
This is midwifery. That's my thing. Um, but a lot of my friends and colleagues.
Uh-oh.
Stop!
Uh-oh.
Hold up, she done snatched the headphones. I was like, what happened?
She like, give me them headphones.
She definitely was. I was like, oh my goodness, I thought it had exited out completely. All right, my bad, y'all. But
You're good.
so a lot of my friends and colleagues just hearing their birthday stories and then just hearing things that when they didn't go favorable. I'm like, this sounds like a scam. This sounds like this is a setup. Yeah, they did this. They gave me the Pitocin. Then they said the baby was in distress and the heart rate dropped. And then I had to have a C-section. I done heard that story about 30 plus times, right? I'm like, there's a common denominator here. Y'all was in the hospital. After the Pitocin and the epidural, it slowed down the heart rate. And they had to have a C-section. Let's look up the cost of a C-section versus a natural birth. Oh, I see what they did here. They try to run up that tab every time. Feel like they have a sucker. They're going to ride it out. You go in there by yourself. They made a lot of women go in there by themselves during the pandemic. A lot of people get themselves into situations, right? And they don't know their child's mother. They don't know their child's father. They don't invest in that information, right? Aren't in a financial place to truly have that child, but their beliefs are they must, carry through and they go with their decision. But there are certain things that are just better off when you plan it, when you're able to correct the nutrition, avoid certain complications. A lot of women just feel like, oh, I gotta be big, I gotta gain all this weight, I'm gonna gain about 50 pounds, my feet gonna be swollen. When you eating the proper things and you're doing the proper exercise, you're doing your prenatal yoga and stuff like that, your feet ain't gonna be swollen. You should only be gaining weight really in your belly area.
Wait, hold up.
And
Are you telling
some women,
me, hold up, are you telling me when you got pregnant, you didn't have a swollen feet or you weren't in the knowledge?
I didn't have no swollen feet. I wasn't seeing the knowledge I'm in now, but I didn't have no swollen feet.
Okay, so how can women prevent having the swollen feet? You know, all that comes with,
It's
I
the
guess what you'll
food.
call traditional, well, not traditional, but usual births. Well,
It's the food.
pregnancies.
It's literally the food. This is the stuff I teach in my classes, but I will say this. When you're eating the meats that are injected with the table salts, that main issue. The dairy has a lot of the table salts in it. The false sodium creates that extra water retention, that extra fluid retention, and that's what causes the inflammation. So that's typically what it is. Eating more carbon based, having a prenatal yoga, stuff like that. Staying active. A lot of women just like, oh, I'm just so kick my feet up and I'm gonna ride this 9 months out just on the couch. You gotta work for it. Birth is a marathon. You should be prepping that whole 9 months. I get it, the first trimester, for the most part, even if you're pretty tired because your body's trying to ramp up. Okay, we're gonna produce another life inside of a life that's already going here. So let's see how we do this, especially if it's the first time. Sometimes if it's the second, third, most women will continuously feel that tiredness in the very beginning. That's normal. You can circumvent it so it doesn't prolong and it doesn't last super long, but most women are going to be tired in the first few weeks. But the swollen feet, 100% nutrition. Preeclampsia, eclampsia, etc., nutrition. They're not telling them this. They prescribing baby aspirins. And now Todd has a lawsuit because it's been causing autism in when pregnant women were told to take Tylenol. Now it's linked to causing a lot of autism in children.
Wait, what?
Yeah, there's a class action lawsuit going right now. If you look up Tylenol and autism, just look keywords: Tylenol, autism, children. You probably don't even have to create a whole sentence. You put those words in, it should pop up. Or a class action lawsuit with Tylenol, and then put in those keywords: children, autism. Yeah, It's all over Instagram. Mm, yeah.
Okay. All right. Wow. So okay. Now I don't know nothing, but I got a question. Should women give birth standing up? Because I've heard women should give birth standing up more. I know you touched on it a little bit, but should they give birth standing up more? Because I think I heard, who was it? It was somebody in the so-called conscious community. But I've heard other people say this that was outside of it. Should women give birth standing up or sitting down?
So personally, I couldn't comprehend what squatting was when I was going through my labor. Mind you, I'm a person that squats. Hence, I'm thick. But couldn't comprehend what squatting was. My legs, I was like, oh, I'm definitely not standing. For gravity purposes, standing is cool. However, you have to have someone who is going to be like, ooh, baby slippery and baby on the ground, right? So standing, gravity purposes, that would help. Squatting down or being in all fours, I gave birth in all fours. Being in all fours and squatting is better. Back labor, absolutely not. Never. You want to work with gravity and work with your body. The way you open up, you ain't opening up on your back. You opening up when you're on all fours. You're opening up when you're squatting. You're opening up when you're standing. Some women, they are able to stand and then catch their baby. I've seen that in a lot of sacred birth doulas posts. Or like just home births in general. I've watched a lot of them, the peaceful ones. Some women are able to, but babies are slippery as hell when they come out. So you have to be in that mind frame to already prepared. Baby's going to be slippery, so you're not just fumbling the bag. Make sure you don't got no lotion on your hands. You got to be in that mind frame to actually know what's about to go down. But
No
yeah,
shea butter? No shea butter?
it depends on which type you have, because some of them will make your hands greasy.
Okay. All right. Ooh, I'm glad I asked that because, ooh, okay. Yeah, you know what you're talking about. Okay. So, all right. So you said that's cool. Now, is being a midwife lucrative? Or is it just it pays some bills? Like how is it? Because some people are kind of skeptical, like you mentioned somewhat when we started talking about this. So is it lucrative as a midwife?
So I haven't went full throttle because I still have a 9 to 5. But midwifery overall is a very lucrative business. It's just people have to diversify. And what I mean by that is birth work is very taxing. Like I said, energy. I'm very big on energy. You use a lot of energy. After my friend gave birth, I was tired too. I took on her energy because we were so closely connected. It was kind of like I just went through my own birthing experience and I already got my child, right? So you need well versed. I wouldn't suggest anyone to get into midwifery and say they're only going to be a midwife. And that's not a discredit. Midwives are amazing. However, you have to have other skills. You teach classes. You have a certain businesses. Let's say you sell your birthing kits. There's other things so that it's not 100% reliant upon, I gotta have 50 clients this year to make sure I pay all my bills for the year. No, that's listed. You are one person. Even people who have teams, if you're the sole person training those people, or you're the backup for a lot of those people, you can't be burning yourself out. A lot of midwives will get into this work, they'll get so passionate about it because as I speak, I'm very passionate about it, but I had to realize I can only take on but so much, especially still having a 9 to 5. Now, full throttle, I'm gonna skip myself because you just can't get burnt out. You'll start to hate the work. Even being super passionate like I am, you'll start to hate it because it'll be so taxing on you. You'll feel like I'm missing out on too much with my children. I'm missing out on too much with this. Even though you love the work, it's taxing. Some of them will have longer labors. Some people in labor active labor, depending on like what they're doing to keep themselves active with that. Sometimes it's a little bit longer than a day. So you were away from your family for more than a day when you thought you were just away for like a couple hours, right? But you're using a lot of resources within that process. So that's also a thing to consider. But midwifery work is amazing. We definitely need more melanated midwives for sure. We need more midwives that aren't afraid to step away from just the birth work or just being birth workers. We need more to step into that full capacity like I did for sure. because we need people to get out these hospitals. Hospitals create so much more problems. They're right if you get shot. You need some passion up. You have a little cooking incident, and you cut yourself, stuff like that. But other than that, birth work is not what their specialty is. It's really not what their specialty is.
So, all right. So, what are some issues that you can have in the future giving birth on your back? I know you mentioned one, if I'm not mistaken. What are some other issues that you can have, or are there any more than that?
So giving birth on your back, you're going to. Well, I'm pretty sure giving birth on your back, you're going to tear. Like guaranteed, I'm pretty sure. I haven't really heard of a woman that gave birth on her back that has torn. And when I say tore, I mean the little. So both men and women have it, of course, because we all have our genitals and then we have our anus. So it's that little muscle piece right there that's in between. It sometimes can create right underneath the vaginal canal. And that creates a little bit tear because, of course, you're pushing. When your body naturally pushes and you use gravity, it's easier to come out. But if you're trying to push and you're going up a mountain, which is pretty much what you're doing when you're trying to push a baby out and you're on your back, and your muscles and your pelvic walls and stuff are closed, and you're pushed that, you can imagine the turmoil. So that will slow down labor. Typically, if they're giving birth in a hospital, they're going to result to a C-section 9 times out of 10. Baby may regress instead of progress, as in the dilation is going to go down. And it's going to be more painful. You're going to feel more pain than anything because you're working against gravity. You're literally working against everything at that point. So yeah, more complications and a more strenuous healing process that you just can't avoid.
So, go into how hospitals are demonizing midwives. We talked about this months ago. So, yeah, let's go. I want you to talk about this.
Hospitals, since they're focused on their bag more so than the parents or the women at hand, they demonize midwives because they feel like they're the back door or that back alley type of thing. They don't fully comprehend. A lot of them don't, especially medical students, because they're brainwashed, right? They done spent $100,000 on their degree. Ain't no way you ain't telling them they doing what they supposed. Ain't no way they ain't supposed to be top OBGYN of the year. Ain't no way they ain't supposed to be, this performing all of these C-sections. That's the wave. I've saved a whole bunch of babies. Had you tried to force the education a little bit more, they probably wouldn't have ended up in certain situations, right? Or they would have been able to hire certain people to speak up for them. But yeah, these hospitals, they just don't know the true history of birth work in general. There's a book, The Big Letdown by Kimberly Seals Ellers, that speaks about how pretty much everything, but it's mainly about breastfeeding, right? But it speaks about how the hospitals about in comparison to the midwives and things. I hope I'm not confusing it, but I believe it did speak about this. And it's just like, yeah, the midwives, they were the original ones. They came in, they were going to people's houses and whatnot, making house calls. And then it got to a point where pretty much the hospitals had a single woman to give birth there. Then, of course, the other races made it seem like, oh, you're upper echelon if you give birth in a hospital. No, you're not. But that's what it was glamorized as. So
keeping up with the Joneses.
It was a status symbol to give birth in a hospital versus giving birth at home. Because, we have the most state-of-the-art technology. There wasn't much technology back then, but they're just pulling from straw here to try to get women to come in. They even offering coupons for them, like, oh yeah, we already know this ain't gonna work out for you. So it's just like they wasn't breastfeeding friendly. It just was a lot of things that were just to get more money. The money that people spend on formula in comparison to breastfeeding, it's ridiculous. So the hospitals is just so much. I really despise hospitals unless it's like those cases. You done got shot, you need a surgery. They're good at Frankensteining people.
Yes.
And it's like one other scenario.
Because I don't go unless I'm shot or I'm in a car accident or something. Other than that, I'm not showing up.
And even then, Depending on that, if I got some people around, I ain't gonna throw their names out there. If I got some people around that's good with them herbs, I might not even chance it. Man, a lot of my friends, the traditional midwives, and trying to get into the traditional midwifery, taking suturing classes. Depending on where I'm at, I might not have even got to step foot in there. They could just stitch me back up if something were to happen.
Ooh. All right. Say less. Let's say less, because you know what I'm saying. This is YouTube, so that say less. You know what I'm saying. Just for your sake. You know what I'm saying. So anyway, wow. So wait. So you have a group of? 'Cause I saw you did like I don't know if it was a press conference or it was at some type of school. It was a group of y'all, but do you have like a group of midwives that y'all hang out with? Is there like a community in where you're at in DC?
Um,
Wait, is this right? They're part of your tribe, right?
Oh, you must be talking about the tour. So within that event, I was the only midwife. But overall, yes, I keep in contact with a lot of the birth workers in the DMV area. A lot of them are pursuing their certifications through the westernized system. Not knocking them at all. That's their path. As far as traditional midwives, I just with one. I've been in talks with her holistic path. We've been trying to connect a little bit further. She's more so one of the birth workers who got more so into, okay, we need more unlicensed midwives and just going the traditional route, and just obtaining the proper information and knowledge from the OG midwives like Salama and the other ones that have come before us that have been doing the birth work without having a quote unquote medical degree. I'm still finding my way of having those connections to the traditional midwives. But in the DMV area, it's just her holistic path that I know of. But I'm in connection with other ones from other states, yes.
Okay. Now, what I really wanted to get into, and you might get passionate, and you know what I'm about to bring up: babies having periods. You remember that article? Oh yeah, she's smiling. She knows.
Babies having periods, and people have tried to normalize this, and I'm not letting it be normalized because let's just think logically here. A lot of women started their cycles a little bit earlier than they should have because of the foods they were consuming. And I don't care if the whole family started their cycles at 9 or 8. It's a tradition of the food. So the food is bringing out that genetic defect, and those genes of the bloodline is becoming weaker and weaker because they're following those same food traditions, and they're poisoning those foods more and more. So it's the same concept. The baby's coming out with periods. They even said, "Oh yeah, it's because mom had too much estrogen in her system." But they pretty it up a little bit. Oh, it's normalized. It's just because mom may have consumed a little bit more estrogen. Consumed a little bit more
Don't make no
estrogen.
sense.
Like what? So we just want to take it and just normalize it versus saying, "Hey, stop consuming X, Y, and Z that elevates your estrogen levels, soy included, especially soy. Stop consuming these. Stop.
Her baby's wrestling.
Stop consuming these things that's going to increase your estrogen levels and cause complications down the road." So it's more and more of that. That's why we're seeing that.
Okay, because when I saw that article, even I was like, "What? Babies having periods? How? That's fugazi. No." Nah. So I'm glad because you went in for a couple of days on that on IG.
Man, it pissed me off. Pissed me off.
Okay. So it's you're a midwife. Now, how did you start your skincare line? Like, what made you go into that? Like,
I
because
saw. Oh, okay.
go ahead. No, I'm done. Go ahead. Go
I
off.
saw a lot of people, and of course, I'm not going to throw them out there because I don't want it to seem like I'm bashing their business. I saw a lot of people folding during the pandemic, of course. And what I mean folding is you start off as, oh natural, 100% natural ingredients you eat, etc. When it counted, y'all folded and y'all switched out for the ingredients that you can't really pronounce easy. You can't really read it and say, "Oh, I know what that is." You kind of read it and be like, "What the hell is that?" So I said, "Okay, I'm gonna just start playing around in the skincare. Look at some formulations, order my own organic ingredients, and just see. Let's see if I'm able to create something good here." And I was gonna give out the butter for free, and then one of my what should I call him?
Associate, acquaintance.
There we go, acquaintance. I'll say
Okay.
acquaintance. I'm not gonna say that's like my friend. But yeah, my acquaintance informed me, and he said, I quote, "Sell that like some crack." I said, "Huh?" Because he was like, "You done invested in these ingredients. This formulation is amazing. Don't be giving this out." I said, "Okay." So literally, it's been selling. They've been like, "Oh, I like the body butter. I like how it's whipped up. I like the smells. I like this. It keeps me moisturized all day. I don't get that greasy feeling that I get from other people." That I don't use shea butter in my products. I use different butters. So
Wait, why you don't use shea butter if you don't mind? Let me ask
no,
you.
it's not an issue. Everyone uses shea butter in their body butters. I wanted to be different.
Oh, okay.
So
I'm about to say, hey, let me know.
Oh no.
Let me know, like, cause I use it. You know what I'm saying? Hey, let me know if I need to turn that off. I'll throw that shit away right now. But go ahead.
My bad. Hold up.
Nah, you good. You good.
No, see. Hold up. I gotta readjust a little bit.
I got you.
Leave it alone, see. Hold up.
She like, I need some attention.
She getting attention. She's trying to go to sleep. That's her thing. But she gonna knock out. She gonna knock out in a second. But
okay.
My bad.
No, take your time.
All right. So what? My bad. I kind of lost train of what I was saying.
What up? Damn. That.
Oh, you said the shea butter. The shea butter.
Yeah, shea butter. There you go.
Okay. So no, it's nothing wrong with shea butter. With the skincare, I've ended up selling it to my friends and whatnot, friends and family, and I kept getting the same response. It's like, "Oh, we love this. Keep making this. Can we get a larger size?" So at first, I started out with like the 6 ounce. Now I have a 9 ounce and a 4 ounce. But it was like, "Yeah, we love this," and people kept coming back. Like the what? The crackheads, right? So I'm like, let me open it up to the public. Created my little website, bought some more products, and was like, "All right, bet I'm gonna go ahead and continue to do this." Now we have ED Organics skincare line.
Okay. Man, look. You need another name because the traditional midwife don't fit you. I'm sorry. It fits you. I'm not saying it, but you need one that fits all these titles.
I know.
Entrepreneur. There it is. Entrepreneur.
The exquisite curator. There we go. Exquisite midwife, exquisite beauty. We're just gonna curate everything.
All right. There you go. So wait. So I seen you posting on your story that you at different events, do different pop-ups. How has it been going so far with the business?
Oh, this has been booming at the pop-up shops. I've been having some. I got to ship out some online orders. Have a lot of pickups. I have a lot of clientele in the DMV area. It's been as fast as I've wanted it to be, in the sense of, if I feel like I need to slow it down, all right, I might not promote as much. I feel like I want to focus more on production. All right, I'm not gonna participate in no pop-up shops, or I'll space it out a certain. So I've been more so in control of, okay, do I want this to slow down a little bit? Just keep it with my friends for right now. So I like that for now. I'll eventually, once people start, getting more well versed in my business, it's not gonna be as easy as being like, oh, okay, I don't gotta promote as much, because then people start to find out, word of mouth, Instagram, etc. It's not gonna be no, I can just tone it down myself. It's gonna be business is booming. But it's been manageable since I am I'm not going to say a serial entrepreneur. I don't like to sound like I'm not focusing on the things that matter. But since I do have multiple businesses, I don't want anything to really like lack in quality. That's what I'm big on. So I've been trying to pace it a certain way so that I still prioritize the main things like midwifery, still being able to take on clients, not being like, oh, I got a pop-up shop, I can't go ahead and do this. Nah, midwifery at the forefront. Skincare is also a part of the lifestyle. Cooking is also part of the lifestyle. So doing things that matter and that are built into my lifestyle has been easier to do versus people just create things and they just want the money. If it's a part of your lifestyle, it's a lot easier to keep up.
Well, I like that. If it's a part of your lifestyle, it's easy to keep up. Ooh,
Mhm.
that's gonna be the quote. That's the quote of the night right there. Ooh. I'm gonna add on to that. Change lifestyles, not diet.
Yeah,
There you go.
especially.
Yes, yes. Okay. So, what if somebody that lived in New York or they lived in Cali? Do you ship, or you haven't got that far with
Mhm.
it? Okay, okay,
I should.
okay. Oh, so if your boy wanted some of your stuff,
I got you.
I can.
Let me get through this
Okay, all
pop-up
right.
shop. I got a big pop-up shop on Saturday. Let me. I mean, I got some more products on the way, so you don't got to hold off for too long. But let me get this pop-up shop, and then yeah, I got
Okay,
my website up,
okay,
and I gotta just upload a few more of the products. That's why I said let me get through the pop-up shop first. Upload all my new scents, and then I got you. I'll send you a little message. I'm gonna set a little reminder to myself.
okay, okay. All right, yeah, because if it's doing that, so hold on. What benefits does your products have? Being that you are into the holistic lifestyle, so like, what benefits does it have so that people can know out there?
BS free. That's the big thing. And when I mean, I'm gonna break it down a little bit, but it's so much BS in a lot of these products. People just don't know what you put on your skin. The skin is the largest organ. It's eating what you put on it. Petrolatum, fragrances, things that you can't even pronounce. And I don't care the most degreed person or the most educated person, the person that might even specialize in English, can struggle pronouncing things inside of some of these skincare products, right? So that's the biggest thing. BS free that won't interrupt your melanin production, that won't interrupt your hormones. Because if the things you're putting on your skin, the things you're breathing in, can mess up your hormones. Recently with fibroids and things like that are quote unquote healthy, as far as like they don't eat a lot of the BS, they don't eat processed foods. What are they putting on their skin? Are they putting on pounds and pounds of makeup? Are they using a lot of the BS skincares? Like literally, if we go through someone and we're like, dang, they pretty they check all the boxes. Oh, but the skincare they putting all this BS back into their system, right? It's going into their bloodstream. That's the biggest thing. So you get things you can pronounce. You get transparency as far as knowing a person that is very big on holistic health. You're not getting the person that's just jumping into here for the money. I could care less about the money, but I'm not gonna be like, oh, this here free body butters for everybody, then y'all just take it. Because of course it costs to produce this product. But I'm very big on the educational piece as well. I'm not just trying to sell you a product and be like, okay, got my me, whatever. I'm educating you on the fact of what I just said. Some people don't even know the skin is the largest organ. Some people don't even know what you put on your skin. You're actually eating it. Some people didn't even know what I just said as far as the melanin production interruption, the endocrine disruptors and things like that, right? So you get the education piece. And then you also just get organic. You get the organic skincare. You aren't exposed to chemicals, essential oils,
So
natural,
no
free.
chemicals. So if I get your product, ain't gonna have none of the alcohol, none of that in it. Okay.
Absolutely not. That's why it's a warning label because it's no preservatives. Letting you know, don't get no water inside of this body, but it will decrease the shelf life and it will introduce bacteria into your product. So make sure you have clean hands. You ain't taking this body butter to the shower with you like it's a scrub. Don't be doing that. But yeah, that's those are the benefits. The benefits that matter
Okay.
to me, the benefits that matter to people.
Okay. Okay. Wow. All right. Wow. This was a good interview. We might have to do a part two because
I got you at the part two, and
yeah, cause
I'll try to coordinate when T ain't here because T, or try to do it earlier when she like not as turned up. Because when it's time
She
for
was
her to.
good though. She was good.
Oh, okay.
She
All
was
right.
good. No, she good. Let her do her thing. Let her do her thing.
All right.
She good. You know what I'm saying?
She be trying to make her grand appearance because I don't post on social media, so she be like, I'm popping in. They gonna hear my voice today, mommy, and I be like,
Yeah, you be trying to hide out of face. Yeah, I noticed it a lot. Yeah.
because
So
people are crazy and they still pictures, they still videos, and we not
yeah,
doing that.
there's a lady that I know. She has a page or whatever, right? There's a guy that created another page with her face and all that, all her pictures. I'm thinking it's her, right? So I'm inbox because I know her, right? So I'm
Mm-hmm.
talking to her, and then the conversation started changing. He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm a guy from Africa. I'm a what did he tell me? He's a spiritualist." And I talked to
Oh,
Orishas. I said, "Oh no, block, get your weird ass on. Why you got somebody that I know in real life
clone account.
pictures on your page
And
on
see,
a fake page?"
we not playing the games with no kids. That's one thing we
Nah.
not gonna do. Mm-mm.
Mm-mm. Now, do you have any last words for the people? Like anything you want to leave? Anything like you want to prescribe? Anything that you want to get off your chest? Anything you've seen in the news that you want to address? Hell, anything on your timeline you want to address?
No, Ellen. I'm feeling relieved, as in the sense of I feel like I touched on a lot of the information. I feel like when I needed to explain a little bit more, go a little bit deeper, I was able to. I don't feel like I had to kind of cut myself short, so I appreciated that. But yeah, you have my Instagram right there. Also, the Exquisite Midwife is my midwifery page. EB.organics is my organic skincare line. So yeah, just hit me up. Y'all got questions? Y'all need a service? You having a baby? I do virtual support as well. I have classes. Just let me know. I got cooking classes on my personal page was Exquisite Beauty. I got midwifery based classes, so pregnancy, preconception. We can select genders. I'm gonna leave that. I'm gonna sprinkle that in there. We ain't gonna explain that part, but we can select genders out here. Um, and it's not no witchcraft or anything like that involved. None of that. But it's a science behind selecting the gender that I have knowledge of. Um, and yeah, I'm just gonna leave y'all with that one right there, so y'all can be like, "Oh, I'm gonna have to reach out to her." Yeah.
Oh yeah, we definitely
Okay.
doing a part two. Yeah, we gonna do a part two because I gotta touch on that. That part you just okay. You know what? We gonna leave them on the cliffhanger right there with that one. All right,
Yep.
y'all. This has been Bag Talk. This is Nyasia, the traditional midwife. You can find us on the Wake Up Radio, on the Wake Up Tube. You can find us on Stitcher, Spotify, and all the other white platforms or non-black platforms. Black. But all right, y'all. Peace.